and community without solution. Communication and the exchange of information is one of the most important parts of our society. Establishing that connection has been what I see that's there in speech. Really touches everyone in their everyday lives because technology touches it. So we can energy system. It's screen these days. Anyone
Embrace the same options.
user share. Innovation is not but without collaboration, technology actually. access publishing. It's off topic.
Good evening, all. This is Bindu Pavalla, lead moderator of IEEE ATEN PES Student Chapter Subcommittee. With immense pleasure, I welcome you all for this Spark Initiative event managed by IEEE ATEN PES Student Chapter Committee on the topic of photovoltaic solutions helping the global energy transition. IEEE ATEN PES Student Chapter Committee had come up with its initiative Spark with an aim to enhance technical knowledge and in-depth conceptual understanding of power and energy sectors and motivate the IEEE PES student and graduate student members of Region 10 Asia Pacific to explore the career options in these areas. Also, through this initiative, multiple PES SBCs of different sections got the opportunity to collaborate on a single event and learn the team working and management skills. Following are the kinds of events to be covered are the people you can expect from Spark are hands-on sessions with softwares relevant to research products and industry, expert lecture talk from world-class speakers from industry and academia, hackathon or simulation-based competition amongst PES SBCs, town hall and chances to interact and work with PES global leaders, helping in grabbing the opportunity to enhance volunteering career in PES. Next, let me describe you today's event. Every second, our sun produces enough energy to sustain its needs. As the world grapples with the challenges of climate change, harnessing the power of the sun with the help of PV technology offers a clean, renewable, and scalable energy solution. A key motivation for a fast transition to renewable-based electricity is that efficiency levels are 2 to 3 times higher than fossil-based energy systems. This will encourage a fast switch from fossil-based power stations to renewable energy systems. Solar PV will provide the lion's share as they have the highest potential by far and lower levelized cost of energy, in addition to its attraction as a predominantly carbon-free power generation technology. In this webinar, we'll explore the role of photovoltaic solutions in driving the global energy transition. We'll delve into the benefits, latest innovations, and real-world applications of PV technology. Now, let me brief you about today's speaker, Dr. Ajit Gopi. Dr. Ajit Gopi is a senior member of IEEE and currently the chair of IEEE Power and Energy Society Kerala chapter. He is also an alumni member of Life Academy Sweden. Dr. Ajit Gopi secured his PhD in solar energy from the University Malaysia Pahang, a state university in Malaysia, under the research group of renewable energy and environment engineering. Dr. Ajit Gopi is currently heading technical consultancy in solar PV projects and wind energy program at ANERT, the social nodal agency for renewable energy under the Power Department of Government of Kerala. Dr. Ajit Gopi has got more than 31 years of experience in energy field, in the renewable energy field. Under his leadership, Anand has commissioned a 2 megawatt solar photovoltaic power plant project at Palakkad, which is the first solar IPP project in the state of Kerala. He has accomplished many solar technical consultancy rooftop projects in major government buildings, including municipal corporations, universities, government courts, and technoparks. In the past, he had led the Renewable Energy Consultancy Group for Parsons, a global energy consultancy organization for their renewable energy division in the Indian subcontinent. As part of this group, he has got solar consultancy experience of several megawatts projects, including a 25 megawatts solar power plant project at Gujarat Solar Park and international projects in China and Portugal. With the same group, was a project manager for a 91.8 megawatts wind farm project in Kutch in Gujarat and has experience in several wind farm resource assessment projects in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. He had worked as a leading techno management team member that has launched the Indian operations of Sun Technics, the PV integrator company under the Conergy Group, Germany under Sun Technics. He could install a 50 kilowatts power solar wind hybrid system at Leh, Ladakh, and several off-grid projects in Chhattisgarh state. That's a brief bio for today's speakers, Dr. Ajit Gopi. The session is over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction. Hope I am audible, right? And visible. Can anyone confirm?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thank you so much. My pleasure to be here in this evening along with the host, Art and Students, PES Student Committee, and IEEE chapters, IEEE IAS PELS Hyderabad Joint Chapter, IEEE IAS Delhi Chapter, IEEE Bangalore Chapter, and we are also, IEEE Kerala Chapter is also hosting this event. Very happy to be here to share my experience and share my thoughts with all of you in this nice evening. Thank you again for having me for this wonderful evening. I'll now try to share my screen. Can anyone confirm my screen is visible?
Sir.
Right?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. It's a very relevant topic, actually. Very happy to see that we have the strong PS student volunteers assembled here, and along with a lot of enthusiasts on photovoltaic solutions. As an expert in photovoltaic technology and systems, I've been working with this industry for the last more than 30 years, 31 years exactly. So today I'll be speaking on photovoltaic solutions helping the global energy transition. On behalf of IEEE Kerala chapter also, I welcome you all for this event, along with the IEEE Art and Region and various other chapters. So I was actually looking at various updates happening around the world. So this is one of the updates actually came from IEEE itself with a quotation from the 2023 IEEE President-elect and IEEE Life Fellow Thomas Collin. It says about space-based solar power is possible. He says about it's possible. I'm sure that space-based solar arrays will be used to power the development of industry and resource development in outer space. And in that way, it will be the benefit for people living on Earth. Very interesting update shared by IEEE. It's always sunny in outer space. Could that be a source of energy on Earth? Definitely, because now a lot of corporations, private corporations are working on it. Caltech is one of that company. Caltech Space Solar Project, they launched in 2023 beginning, and they're working on it. They're working on different packages of prototype components and many advantages actually if you could tap. I've been hearing this for the last several years. Why can't we tap and transmit it to Earth through us in different forms, maybe laser or microwaves. So it's a case of research, and a lot of research is going on in this direction also. And the important attraction is actually solar is available during night. Solar is not available during night in Earth. It's not available. So it will be available during night in Earth once we could power from the space. Even cloudy times we will get power. So very interesting. So energy transition is happening, as we all know. It's fastly happening. You could see the trend everywhere. If you look at the global scenario, reference from Statista, renewables 28% in 2020, were 28% in 2021, and it will be going to be 38% in 2027. Fast growth. And see the decline in coal. The coal will be declining from 36% in 2021 to 29.7% in 2027. It's the projection. So it will be cool to hear renewables soon to overtake coal in electricity generation. Very soon it will be overtaking coal. You could see that coal is coming down to 29% and renewables making 38% in 2027. We never believed that actually. See, I joined the industry in 1990 in the state nodal agency. ANERT looks after the renewable energy development in the state of Kerala, the state nodal agency under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. See, when I joined the industry, the PV cost was something around 300 to 500 rupees per watt peak. It has come down to 17 rupees per watt peak very recently, and of course there is some changes happening because of other policies coming up, but it has come down to the value of 20 rupees, below 20 rupees per watt peak. Very interesting. I remember the days when I was wiring tribal colonies in 90s, utilizing 35 watt peak modules. Now the common size of the usual size we are wiring up with the 500 watt peak modules, or above that, 600 watt peak modules. So those times only 35 watts or below that scales were available for solar PV modules. The IRNA Outlook 2023 came last couple of weeks back. You could see the revolution happening, renewable share in the new capacity, annual power capacity expansions, 2002 to 2022. It's taking a major contribution. You can see the contribution happening when compared to the non-renewables or fossil fuels. So it's overtaking actually. It equals around in 2014. It takes the lead in 2014 onwards. and you could see the clear advances, a leap in 2022. So things are going in the right direction to address the major issue of climate change and global warming, as you all know about it. If you look at the investment going on, see, to address the issue of climate change, we have the 1.5 degree scenario target by the Paris Paris Climate Agreement. So the planned scenario is something like the investment done in US dollar on not 3 trillion. So it is expected to have 150 trillion US dollar investment to make this 1.5 degree scenario projections. So we need a lot of work to done, like around 1 trillion of annual investments fossil fuel based technologies currently envisaged in the planned energy. So a huge work has to be done. A cumulative US dollar 150 trillion is required to realize the 1.5 degrees centigrade target by 2050. We have to do a lot of all the national governments, UN and states, small communities, everyone should do. And student communities also have a lot of work to do to address this. There's no doubt about that. See, renewable energy is very important because it's removing the energy poverty. Energy poverty is lack of access to the modern electricity services. Around 0.8 billion people, or around 733 million people, are without access to electricity. So this is a fact. A lot of people, a lot of communities in sub-Saharan Africa are without access to electricity. Even some of the areas of our Southeast Asia. There are states in our country where there are isolated communities. There are areas without the electrification happening. Or renewables, especially solar, is the best option to do it, to address this issue. And if you look at the UN Sustainable Development Goals also, the seventh goal is affordable and clean energy. It should be clean and it should be affordable. You take the importance of the affordability and the cleanness of energy. So UN has given preference to that. It's not a mere distribution of energy. It should be affordable and clean for the millions of people around the world to get the modern energy service. It's very important. And coming to the PV technologies, just before going to the solutions, I'll give you a small introduction because we have a lot of student community attending. There are a lot of technology updation happening in PV technologies. We worked with the first generation crystalline silicon, and a lot of projects are going on with the same. And with a very high conversion efficiency, we have monocrystalline and polycrystalline. With monocrystalline was the type of crystalline PV modules we worked in the beginning, from 90s up to maybe 2013, 2014. We had a lot of monocrystalline available. So up to 2010, I should say clearly. 2010 onwards, there was a popularity of polycrystalline because of the price reduction when compared to the monocrystalline, and of course the availability, everything, things like that. But suddenly after 2015, again the importance of monocrystalline came in the industry. We started wiring up with the monocrystalline again, especially the high advanced modules of mono PERC modules, passive emitter rear collector modules and all. So polycrystalline, it looks like polycrystalline is not so available when compared to the monocrystalline. So things are happening in that direction. Of course, the thin film is also making its own effort to be with the projects and all. In fact, I worked for a 25 megawatt project in Gujarat in Charanka Solar Park. It was an amorphous silicon based tandem junction crystalline silicon module. So it was a 25 megawatt module for a client there. So thin film has its own advantages. It has better temperature coefficient, like better advantage for higher ambient temperatures. It has been proven with the performance of amorphous silicon solar modules, thin film solar modules. And cadmium telluride, First Solar Corporation has made this cadmium telluride solar module into the market. They are actually the leaders. It's having efficiency above 12%, while the amorphous silicon solar modules having efficiency above 6% to around 10-12% now. And above 12%, you have efficiency for cadmium telluride modules, copper indium gallium selenide modules, gallium arsenide modules, and all. So it has got its own applications because of the flexibility of using as a match or building integrated PV or for military applications. Of course, you know about its usage in calculators and or watches and all. And there are innovations happening. You have half-cut solar modules, just to introduce what exactly happening with the industry. Small solar cells can be included in the panel, like without any spaces available. You know the what you call potential induced degradation, PID. Potential induced degradation, it's happening because of the EMFs happening with a lot of areas available around the cells, but that is avoided completely if you use a half cut. Improved performance and durability. We could see a lot of half cut PV modules available in the market now. And of course, I told you about the monocrystalline PERC modules, passivated emitter and rear cell or contact modules. A passivation layer is added in the rear surface of the cell that enhances the efficiency. It reflects light back into the cell, increasing the amount of solar radiation. So it makes an arrangement to get more solar radiation into your cell. And bifacial, of course, it's also very popular now, especially in the Western market, European market and all. You could get both phases beneficial, adding around 11 to 12% extra generation, because you are getting extra solar insulation reflected from the back surface also. So, so bifacial solar PV modules are another important feature, which is very popular, and it has got a very good use if you have enough area to place it in, especially in stadiums, where you can use, like, you can use the reflected rays also, utilizing it for generation. And heterojunction technology is a very popular technology, which is having very high efficiency, above 25%, up to 26% in lab and all. It combines two or more different technologies. The popular being crystalline silicon and amorphous thin film. So HJT, if you search the web, you will get a lot of papers, international papers on heterojunction technology. It's also become commercial now. So I thought of introducing you the PV technologies have a lot of movements are there, updation happening on various fronts. I'm not going to explain, because I'll be more concentrating on the PV solutions, because that is the title of my presentation today. Okay. So see, if you look at solar PV preferred options, there are different options available, and the basic options or the primary options are solutions will be, of course, the solar rooftop projects. You have on-grid projects, you have off-grid projects, you have hybrid PV rooftop plants. And different business models are available, captive and RESCO models. So with the help of MNRE, with the subsidy setup and all, a lot of projects are happening in India taken up by the different state utilities and state nodal agency. I represent ANERT. ANERT is actually the state nodal agency here, just like JEDA in Gujarat, TEDA in Tamil Nadu. So my organization actually joined with the state public utility KCB Limited to have the solar rooftop program, subsidized program of grid connected project. And of course, we have been doing a lot of projects on off-grid side, as you know. I'm not explaining much on that because you know about that. So various experience we did actually, we had a mission of a special mission of 10,000 rooftop initiative launched in 2011, and we completed 10,000 rooftops of 1 kilowatt, installing 10 megawatt. That was one of its kind program in Asia. And of course, there are different models, captive and RESCO. And the RESCO model projects were more advertised by the KCB Limited initially, but now lost a lot of captive power plants are happening with the subsidy. So rooftop are the best options for area for the decentralized as decentralized systems for your house. Your house becoming a solar station or a solar generating station, offsetting your electricity needs. And of course, there are lot of ground-mounted PV, preferably on wastelands. And the special importance to be taken that we are not taking the agricultural land and all. So ground-mounted utility scale power plants are very popular in the country. We have a lot of space, especially in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, especially Rajasthan and Gujarat. Gujarat, I worked with the 25 megawatt I already mentioned in Charanka Solar, which was the country's first organized solar park, Charanka village. I was working for Parsons Pinkeroff at that time as a consultant. So a lot of projects were implemented on Gujarat solar policy. At that time, it was around 15 rupees per unit. Very costly. See, now it has reached the grid parity. People are quoting below 2.5 rupees. A lot of projects are coming in the country. The developers are ready to give you at cheap rate and all. In Rajasthan, you know, the attraction is you have enough insulation. Your sun peak hours are very much higher when compared to any part of the country, something around 7 kilowatt hour per meter square per day. And of course, the storage option is also becoming very popular. Utility with the storage to address the duck curve. A lot of storage projects are coming up in the western side, especially in Europe and US. And you have seen a lot of projects happening in Australia. South Australia has come up with the biggest project of utility with the storage, and a lot of distributed storage systems are also happening along distributed storage with the PV is happening. You know about California projects. California, if you going for a grid connected, definitely they will be asking for including your Tesla battery backup or any kind of battery backup, so that which won't make much harmful effect to the grid. So utility with the storage and distributed storage is also important. Rooftop with storage is also important. And floating is it is the most happening thing in Asian part of the world. Actually, a lot of projects are happening in Korea, in Japan, in China. My state, Kerala, we have a lot of potential for floating solar projects. I'm coming to that. And of course, there are other innovations like highway rooftops, canal rooftops, elevated structures, agri-photovoltaics, and of course, microgrids for isolated communities. It can be urban microgrids and it can be rural remote microgrids. So solar PV options are a lot. Carports I didn't mention here, carports. And highway rooftop I already mentioned. So I couldn't avoid going with this slide. CIAL, Cochin International Airport Limited, has shown the world that they can power an airport 100% with PV photovoltaic. So they're meeting their needs with the huge 40 megawatt capacity power plant, out of which they have given different innovations. They started with a rooftop plant of 1 megawatt. Now they have come up with a floating solar plant also, a small twin floating solar power plants of 452 kilowatt peak array. So Cochin Airport has shown the way, and later lot of airports followed the suit. The attraction is you have a wide area where there is no shade at all, and only thing is you have to adjust the glares. So how you define your solar modules, how you deploy your solar modules without affecting the glare and all, it's very important. So lot of mega utility scale solar power, excuse me for that spelling mistakes of mega. A lot of mega utility scale solar power plants are there in India, which has shown to the world that we are the leaders. Fatla in Rajasthan, 2245, Pavgada, one of the major project happened 5 years back, 2050. Kurnool Ultra Mega Park in Andhra Pradesh, 1000 megawatt. NP Kunta, Andhra Pradesh, 1500 megawatt, and around 1000 megawatt now operational. Reva Ultra Mega Solar Park. It is a single park, a single area. The whole 750 has been developed. So Reva is one of its kind in that particular way. Charanka, I already told you. Kumuti is in Tamil Nadu, 648. So a lot of projects are coming up. I took some 7 projects to give you an example of this. I will give you some of the snapshots of a 2 megawatt project actually, which my organization has made as an IPP. It was the first IPP project in the state to showcase our ability and just for to do a research on what actually happening for a utility scale power plant in tropical region. So we have an experimental setup also there, like very interesting experimental setup. You could see that we have a solar radiation resource assessment station, SRRA station there, equipped with all quality instruments. You could see the solar tower here. Here there is a pyranometer, there is a pyrheliometer, and a shader pyranometer. Pyranometer, you know about measuring the global horizontal radiation. Shaded pyranometer, the diffuse solar radiation, diffuse horizontal radiation. And you have a pyrheliometer which tracks the sun. You can see the pyrheliometer here. It tracks the sun, which is measuring the direct normal irradiation, DNI. You have ultrasonic, the wind anemometer there. You have a Geonica modem data logger, which transmits the real-time data to a remote server, which gives us an important data for understanding how a solar farm works and all. We have a advanced rain gauge. You could see the solar farm here, and you can see a rooftop here. The rooftop is actually catering the needs of auxiliary supply. So that was the unique arrangement I made after my experience with a project in Raipur. As part of the consultancy, I installed a 2 megawatt in Hilda near Raipur. So we faced some issues with the utility to get a connection before powering or during the construction. So I thought of doing this off rooftop plant to get the power for doing the basic welding and all. At the same time, I'm serving the same power for powering the street lights around the solar power plant, and also for the auxiliary needs of your inverter, your HT, and all. So, and along with this excellent system for measuring your the weather data, the plant is actually it is installed in Palakkad districts with in 2016. Some features I have seen with 2 Hitachi inverters and Renesola PV module long back. I will give you a snapshot of what exactly happening in a tropical region. This is based on the assessment done with IEC 61724 standards, which is the performance measurement standard of the IEC, International Electrotechnical Commission. If you look at the tropical region, you could see a dip here. The dip is happening, of course, you could guess it. It's happening in June, July, August. You have a top generation happening in Jan, February, and March. March, you have a peak. It comes down in June, July, August. Of course, the reason is monsoon seasons. In Kerala kind of tropical climate, you have in everywhere in tropical climate it's happening. Here, the tropical monsoons happening in June, July, August. So it differs in different states. You could see how the different climates seasons affects. So definitely there is an impact actually for the generation. I remember in one of my papers, part of my PhD, I could find that the tropical region, because of the monsoon seasons and all, it drops to around 30% of, more than 30% of generation when compared to the dry climate and all in Middle East and all. So this happens basically because the tropical region, the monsoon climatic seasons, it affects. It's there, but it's actually covered up by the summer seasons. So still there is a difference of the generation in the tropical region. In Malaysia, in tropical countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, it happens actually. So according to this, we are getting enough generation, but we cannot compare this with Germany or where the sun peak hours is less than 3.5 kilowatt hour per meter square per day. Here in a sunny tropical region, it will be around above 5 kilowatt hour per meter square per day. So in a sunny weather, for my power plant, I have a 5 kilowatt peak solar power plant installed at my home with this the MNRE subsidy. So it gives around, in March, I got around 29.5 units of, it's more than 5. If it gives 5 units per kilowatt peak, it will be 25. So 29.5 means it's around 6 units per kilowatt peak. So it can peak up to that. Only thing is during the rains and all, your generation will be much less. Of course, other than the utility, I'm bringing your attention to the medium type of rooftop power plants, where you can. This I installed in Technopark Trivandrum. Technopark is actually, as part of the consultancy team, we are actually positioning as a consultant in and out. We do consultancy for mega projects, and we can do consultancy for medium rooftops also. So when Technopark, it's actually under the government. They are also a licensee. Licensee means a DISCOM. So when they approached us, we designed the system. Actually, the licensee have a RPO obligation. So because of that RPO obligation of meeting the RPO obligation, renewable energy purchase obligation, I think you know about RPO, renewable energy purchase obligation. There's a target for solar PV also. That's why we installed this in Technopark Ganga Yamuna in Tower. We had another experiment actually as part of the consultancy. And I did a 200 kilowatt peak in Thrissur Corporation. Thrissur Corporation, one of the corporations in India, in Kerala state, having it is also a licensee. It has got an electricity department. It is something unique for a corporation. Corporations generally get power from different private utilities and public utilities. Here, the corporation itself is a utility. It's a licensee. When they approached for a consultancy, we installed it at 200 kilowatts with the ABB inverters, and I think, yeah, I remember 5 numbers of ABB inverters. No, 8 numbers of ABB inverters of 25 kilowatt each. So totaling 200 kilowatts. And if you look at a red screen simulation of your GHG, greenhouse gas reduction, your environmental benefits, you can see that you are replacing 340 tons of carbon dioxide. If you do a red screen analysis, of course, some of you are familiar with the red screen software. It's an international software from the government of Canada, which do a lot of analysis on financial sides, on GHG or environmental sides, on risk mitigation sides. So it's really downloadable, but you cannot create reports unless and until you make a license. So you could see that the equivalence of a 200 kilowatt making to the environment, it's equivalent to 62 cars, trucks not used, and 78 barrels of crude oil not consumed, and it's equivalent to 77 acres of forest absorbing carbon. Even a 1 kilowatt solar power plant, if you install, can address, it's equivalent to planting 14 trees. It's equivalent to the effect of or the environmental benefit of planting 14 trees in your location. So do your contribution by implementing the environmental projects. And now I am from utility bigger school projects to the mid rooftop projects and residential project. I am switching to the solar hybrid power plants. See, solar hybrids, microgrids are actually, or solar wind hybrids or microgrids are actually very useful in very remote areas. You can power remote hamlets, you can power remote hospitals. See, this is one of the examples. I visited this health services system or offices in Babati, Manyara region in Arusha in Tanzania. I was invited by my Swedish alumni for a program of solar wind hybrid system in Arusha. Visited this solar hybrid station. You could see that this is actually a solar wind hybrid station with a 1 kilowatt PV and 1 kilowatt horizontal axis small wind turbine. It's actually making a complementary effect. Actually, that during daytime you will get enough PV, and during night you will get enough wind, which can keep the battery alive, keep the battery sufficient for keeping your the medicines or you are powering your hamlets. It's a very good model for remote communities. I could say that I have shown you on one of my slides telling that more than 733 million people are without access to electricity, mostly from sub-Saharan Africa. When I visited Tanzania, we were taken to remote areas of Tanzania. Around 300 kilometers we traveled from Arusha. I couldn't see the conventional lines during our travel. I've seen a lot of markets selling small solar panels of 5 kilowatt peak, 5 watt peak, 3 watt peak, 10 watt peak, 20 watt peak on various scales. Why they are selling is people need batteries to be powered, charged. So remote areas, we have a lot of communities in the world without access to electricity. So this is actually useful once you for resilient systems to address what you call remote communities during your what you call whenever flood comes, when a disaster struck due to climate change and all. So it's a common popular system you can use whenever there's a disaster, when there is an issue, which will power up your remote system. See, I will tell you an example of especially PV. And wind turbine can work. I remember the days when there was a flood in Mumbai in 2005. Back in 2005, I remember the days Mumbai was completely flooded, but we could see a lot of areas where it was lighted up. It's because of small wind turbines installed on skyscrapers. In big, taller buildings, on rooftops, they installed smaller wind turbines, which completely cater the needs and efficiency lighting systems, along with PV. So these systems lighted up in all these areas in 2005, even though the conventional power was completely gone. So this has got a resilient effect as well, and it can power the remote communities. That is the attraction of microgrids. Microgrids can be something like, see, we did an experiment on microgrids. 2001, 2003, I was actually fortunate to lead this program to power the remote communities. You could see, you can see some pictures of the real owners of these solar PV modules. I took these pictures back in 2001 when we installed it in remote tribal colonies, very small micro nano systems which power the micro communities. Because there is no way, because you have to trek 10 kilometers up to the tribal areas. Similarly, we have done when I was working with the Conergy AG Sun Technics Private Limited, which is a subsidiary of Conergy AG, a German company. In 2005, 2007, we installed around 25 numbers of remote solar microgrids in Chhattisgarh, in Bastar district, you know, the Naxalite prone area. So it's actually very good systems. It's flexible, clean, quick, very short gestation period. That is the interesting thing of how it helps the remote communities. This one I told you about the interesting case studies we did in 10,000 rooftop program. IEEE Smart Village. You IEEEans know about that. It powers. We have a lot of projects coming up. A lot of help from the headquarters. Enables light after sunset. Illuminates kitchens, and it led communities to live cleaner and safer and start entrepreneurship. You could see a lady selling. She's owning a shop there. So this is an interesting initiative by IEEE Smart Village. The only thing is, if you look at microgrid, it has to be sustainable. There are a lot of sustainability dimensions: technical, economical, social, ethical, environmental, institutional. You have to do a lot of studies on that. I would say that institutional part is very important. You have to do a lot of work on institutional mechanisms to sustain it. If you have a battery bank available, you have to see that the battery bank is there after 5-6 years. If you are using a LMLA battery or VRLA battery, the life will be over by 5-6 years, or after 5 years you have to replace it. See that funding is there from the local self-government or the local institution or from the government. The sustainability is very important for this. And of course, your design, when you rewind them, that covers the technical stuff. The economics, you have to find sources for it. You have to get the funding from private equities or from the government. And of course, you have to involve the local people to be with that system to make it sustainable. And the next system I'm explaining. So I covered utility, I covered the rooftops, on-grid, off-grid. I covered the utility, I covered the mid-rooftop, I covered the residential systems, I covered the solar microgrids. Now I'm telling about photovoltaics. So photovoltaics is a term now. We call the floating solar power plants. So floating FPs are suitable for countries who cannot afford large-scale plants because of the availability of area. So if you have a lot of water bodies available, like in Kerala, this is a very good option. And this interest has generated after Fukushima disaster, nuclear power plant disaster. Japan started doing a lot on photovoltaics. I will give you some examples of what is happening in the country. I will give you some examples from Kerala. NTPC has recently commissioned a 92 megawatt floating solar power plant in Kayankulam Lake in Kollam district. It's a 450-acre lake area adjacent to NTPC Rajiv Gandhi combined cycle power project. See how the even our national companies are also doing this diversification. NTPC is doing a lot of solar projects. Also, National Hydropower Corporation, NHPC, is also doing a lot of projects. NHPC was actually had an alliance with the state utility to do wind projects in the state. And you could see different scales we can do. See, 92 megawatt is a huge project. It's second to the huge NTPC project happening in Andhra Pradesh, in Ramagundam. It is, I think, that is 100 megawatt or more than that. So we have a 452 kilowatt, I already explained, in Cochin International Airport. This was the first initiative at Baranasura Sagar Dam in Wayanad district by KCBL. So on various scales, it's happening. On various scales, this kind of projects are coming in. So that is a very interesting thing, dear friends. This is the first initiative of 260 watts PV module. At that time, it was very popular in 2015 on ferrocement floats. And the technology is completely now matured. I would say that you have international players in the picture. If you have floating solar power plants, you have the different kinds of floats are available. More than 10 test beds are there in Singapore, where different kind of technologies from different countries are being experimented. If you visit Singapore, you can see that test bed to have a technology, what you call, or industrial visit. It's actually an experiment going on, funded by the Singapore government. So you have a lot of challenges in a floating solar power plant. You have mooring lines and anchoring there, and you have a central inverter or a distributed string inverters. And the advantage is, of course, the temperature advantage. I would say that you have an advantage of around 10 to 12 degrees centigrade, 12% of extra power production because of the temperature advantage. Your back surface temperature of the module will go to 45 degrees centigrade in a 30-degree ambient atmosphere. So our modules are designed at 25 degrees centigrade and 1.5 air mass and 1000 watt per meter square. So that means we are not getting our PV modules working at 25 degrees centigrade because of our usual temperature in India, average 30 degrees centigrade. It goes what you call to 45 and above. That results in normal operating cell temperatures. It comes to 90% of the output is coming. For example, if you go for a 5 kilowatt peak plant, it will be around 4.2 or 4.5 above you are getting. So for a 2 megawatt plant, you will get 1.9 megawatt, or something like that. So there was actually a discussion on that, on what capacity you will tender for a project. So internationally, people will tender the project for a nominal power. And if you look at the global position, you can see a lot of things are happening in Asian region. China and Japan taking the lead. India now come up with a lot of projects. You can see the size of projects, no? Size of projects in bigger sizes, in greater than 15 megawatt, a lot of projects are coming. So scale is not a big issue in floating power plants now. Bigger scales, bigger projects coming up. It's very interesting. And the global additions also actually it's a figure, an old figure, but still you can see the growth happening. I have explained about in our state we have more than 44 rivers and 27 backwaters. Some of you have visited, my friends, by from listening to this webinar from other states. Might have visited Kerala. You have seen a lot of water bodies around. 27 backwaters and 7 lagoons. And we have a lot of hydroelectric power plants. Out of 70% of our generation, internal generation is from hydro. And out of that, the public utilities are owning around 59 dams where we have 45, they have 45 reservoirs. And the water authority, the irrigation department has 20 dams, which 20 reservoirs. So enough potential there. And another example is if you blend floating with the hydro, it's a very interesting example because during daytime your PV will be generating power from the dam area, from the reservoir area, and which will keep the water there, and that water can be used for the peak time. So it's a very interesting thing. Only thing is we have to check that facility, power evacuation facility, is sufficient to do that. So it complements each other. It's a very good model for hydroelectric stations to have a blend with the floating solar power plants. And after floating power plants, the agri-photovoltaics projects, I will explain. A lot of projects are coming in the world in agri-photovoltaics. This is a project from ANERT actually installed in Kampalathara in Palakkad, an experimental agri-photovoltaic project, where we actually installed this agri-photovoltaic projects of 25 kilowatts. And similar area we cultivated with the crops and all. Here also the cultivation and the comparative study is going on actually. Agri-photovoltaic is very interesting for agricultural areas. You have the elevated structures to do the agriculture. Only thing is you have to see that which are the crops which is suitable, that you have to consult with the agricultural scientist and all. So it's an interesting example where food and or agriculture assist with the green generation. It's very interesting example. And the country is also experimenting on it. The PM Kusum project. There is a project like they are giving a lot of importance to agri-photovoltaic projects. And there are multiple innovations coming up on canal top projects, dam top. You can see the dam top project here, which is a very interesting project. This is installed on the dam top by KCB Limited, one of the projects, very popular projects installed in Wayanad district. This is a canal rooftop project installed in Gujarat. Very interesting example actually. So there are big projects coming up because especially the European people are researching a lot on that. Not high research needed, that if you have a space of elevating the elevated area where you could install solar panels without shade, that is the attraction here. You can generate power. It's very interesting to have highway rooftops. It's only thing is wherever you are evacuating the power, you should have a vicinity of your evacuating section. And canal top, I already explained about the canal rooftop project. And I will show you a interesting statistics about what exactly happening in the country. More than 42,000 megawatt of wind power feeding to the grid, more than 60 to 66. It's reached 70,000. I heard from the update. So now the total installed power is more than 70,000 megawatts, and we are going for more than 450 gigawatts. Sorry, 450 gigawatt by 2030 to have India's contribution towards addressing climate change and global warming. And we have more than 30% share in the renewable energy side. I'm concluding my share, my slide with the donut economics, as I always do in my previous presentations also, because I'm very much interested with the donut economics. Kat Raworth has come up with this interesting model of ideal state built with the social foundation. So she was actually recommended for Nobel Prize. Donut economics is nothing but it's a donut which represents an ideal state of society. We have a lot of Panchayati Raj institutions, especially the 78th and 79 amendment of our constitution made the Panchayati Raj institutions powerful. Especially the district panchayats now can generate power and distribute it. We have an example in Kerala where Meenvellam hydroelectric project, small hydro project, has been done by the Palakkad district panchayat. So the Panchayati Raj institution can generate the power. Here, what Kat Raworth meant is by donut economics is the ideal society where you know a lot about the circular economy, the net zero target, the carbon neutrality. Nowadays, a lot of things are happening in the world on these three phrases: net zero, carbon neutrality, and of course, circular economy. We are moving from the linear economy to the circular economy. We are moving from the carbon. We are moving to the carbon neutral world, or even carbon negative world, where we are addressing, we are mitigating climate change and global warming, and we are going for net zero. All business organizations are now appointing managers, higher ups, for net zero as net zero consultants. So interesting for the engineering students to include, to study a lot on these concepts, on net zero, on carbon neutrality, and circular economy. So here, Kat Raworth was explaining about the social foundation with the gender equality. There is no demarcation on caste and creed. There is no issues with the people living conditions. There is no there is very good habitat arrangement, very good ecosystem to people people live in harmony without any overshoots. You have no ocean acidification. You don't have climate change. You don't have ozonic layer depletion. You don't land conversions. You don't have freshwater withdrawals. So it's an ideal state, and you are generating power from your own areas using renewable energy sources. What an ideal state, a self-sufficient ideal state. Maybe just like our Rashtrapita Mahatma Gandhi ji dreamt about the Gram Swaraj. So with that, I'm ending my presentation. We don't have a planet B. Thank you all for giving this opportunity and listening to me. Thank you so much.
It was really informative sessions here about the first generation, second generation, and the initiatives like half-cut, bifacial, PRC, HJT technology, mega utility scale solar projects in India, and the virtual tour of your 2 megawatts project and photovoltaics and a lot more. That was really very informative for our participants, I hope. Now I request the participants to post their questions in the chat box if they are having any queries. So there is already a query in the chat box that a student is asking that once the PV cells won't work or gets destroyed or any, what's the best way to recycle it? because the current existing solar modules are very costly and also not very exactly recyclable?
Yes. It's very popular question coming up actually. We have a lot of challenges on this side actually. See, when we started working on solar PV modules in 90s, I could see a lot of scrap around, which after the life period has existed in the same frame. But now people are addressing it. I will give you an example of it's 90% recyclable now. Now the international projects are coming with a recycling contract also from the international corporations. So recycling is now possible because you have a lot of content which is which can be recyclable. Recycling is possible. For example, I will give you an example of First Solar. First Solar came with the thin film PV module, and First Solar has a very interesting more than 90% recycling arrangement when you make the contract. Whenever you go for a First solar project, you will get a contract like that. So all international solar PV modules are giving this offer of what you call getting arrangement to recycle your solar PV modules. I hope the Indian contract also, the EPC companies will take care of that, the developers will take care of that, the consultants will take care of that, because a lot of what you call e-waste or is troubling us. Of course, the solar waste will be the next thing going to trouble us. I think recycling is an important item when you sign the contract for a project. It's not happening for rooftop projects, to be honest. But I think that time will come. Of course, in utility scale projects, this is a very high priority. In international projects, India will follow the suit. In some of the projects, it has taken place actually. Thank you for that question.
So there is one more question that can you share an opinion on color changing PV cells and transparent PV cells?
Yes, there are a lot of innovations happening on that side because you know about the Tesla rooftop. Even though it didn't hit in the market like that, a lot of color changing modules and transparent modules are coming to the technology arena, just like innovations happening. Because people preferences, for example, if you look at the Tesla solar PV modules, you cannot differentiate with the usual Tesla roof and the PV module roof. So it's all unique in look. So like the transparent PV modules, it has the attraction of getting a transparency and getting the light reaching to your user needs. Of course, bit filtered. So it's an excellent example. It can even combine with your agri photovoltaics and all. I've seen some projects where they use transparent solar PV modules, and this kind of BIPV is, I didn't explain much on BIPV. We have done a BIPV. What is BIPV? BIPV is building integrated PV. In building integrated PV, I have done a project in when I was in Sun Technics under the Conergy AG in Kolkata, a BIPV project. So BIPV has got a lot of attraction on thin film along with this colored PV modules, because people have different senses of architectural mindsets and what a kind of their sense of look and all. So that's why these kind of things are coming up. Of course, there will be some differences in efficiency, but when you look at the looks, or what you call concentrating more on that side, of course, these kind of innovations will come. Thank you.
So I request all the participants to fill that feedback and attendance form will be given in the chat box in some time, so that only those who fill that form will be getting the certificates of this webinar. So let's move on to the next question. There's a question that through what method we can extract the temper glass from solar?
Sorry?
Through what method we can extract the temper glass from solar?
Temper glass. I couldn't.
Yes, sir.
Let me check it.
He's asking like through what method we can extract the glass.
Of course, you whenever you go for a material like glass, you have to have a substrate filled, pasted with a kind of photovoltaic materials. There are different materials for that. So you cannot use plain glass or temper glass. It has to have a kind of photovoltaic materials pasted into it. There are different technologies. If you look at innovations happening on thin film, there are different materials and material compounds, especially the heterojunction technologies, which is impacting the world, which based on different substrates. So thin film also, I told you about the technology where the blends are happening with the amorphous silicon and crystalline silicon solar. So all this needs a substrate. So if you go for transparent kind of material, or the material which you are going to paste, the photovoltaic material, it's possible to have a usual glass exhibit the property of a photovoltaic process. That is the attraction people utilize for BIPV. It looks like a simple glass building. Glass doesn't have an importance in our higher temperature region because it will have a what you call thermosiphonic effect, or maybe greenhouse effect. So greenhouse effect can heat up your environment. But in colder countries or countries like Scandinavian countries like Denmark, Sweden, and all, where their glass building will give an extra temperature for you. So those kind of areas where you can use, they don't like to change their aesthetics. It's very important for wind energy installation also. They don't want their wind turbines on their backyards like that. They don't want solar panels to change their aesthetics or looks. So there this application comes. Thank you.
Okay, sir. So one more participant is asking that can you clarify on how to ensure sustainability of solar cells?
Yeah, this is the same answer I have done in the first question, because reduce, reuse, recycle is the mantra of circular economy, as we always tell. So we have to adapt the technologies and utilize the technologies. There is no doubt about that. And if you use solar panels, there will be a carbon content, definitely. So how we recycle it, it's very important. So sustainability comes in that way. So we have to make it circular. So to make it circular, you have to recycle it. We cannot reuse it because by that time, whenever based on the current practice, the MNR is giving 25 years of life. At the end of 25 years of life, it insists a guarantee of an output guarantee of 80%. And at the end of 10 years, it insists an output guarantee of 10%. 10% reduction only. So 80% workability should be, or performance should be there at the end of 25 years. So after that, maybe it's derated, it might have derated, you cannot reuse. But it has got a lot of applications, even in PV module manufacturing, because silicon is a raw material available. So of course, it adds to the circular economy and it adds to sustainability. Thank you.
Sir, we have few questions from our registration form of the Google form.
Please.
A participant asked to discuss about career in this field.
Sorry?
He requested to discuss about career in this field.
Can you?
I'll just type in the chat box, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yep.
Sustainability. Next is career in this field. Okay. It's an important question, actually. Thanks for that question. May I know who has asked this question? Can you identify it? No.
No, sir. We got
It's okay. It's a
all
very
the
important
random
question.
things.
I appreciate for this question. Actually, I missed it. See, my career is completely with renewable energy for the last 32 years or more than 31 years. So on different roles, as an installer, as a manager, as a project engineer, as heading the solar consultancy, in private institutions as a consultant, and what do you call it? A lot of roles I have played. I have worked in my career. So if you build a career in solar industry, once you do your BTech, you have to cream up with some additional knowledge. There is no doubt about that. Of course, you have some optionals or maybe some curriculum on renewables, maybe a little bit on solar during your BTech or MTech. There are courses like renewable energy MTech or energy technology MTech. So which specifies more or which elaborates more on solar energy. But generally, if you go for a graduation, you don't have much on that. But we have a lot of openings now for students. See, the roles coming up in the industry, especially for electronics, electrical students, EEE students, electronics and communication students, and computer science students, because all should work together. The role will be like, see, because of the enormous kind of jobs coming up in the industry. Because if you look at the power industry or energy industry, more than 50% of the installations happening in the world is from the PV industry. So you need designers, right? Starting from the feasibility study experts who do the assessments. So even if you want to do an assessment, you need to know about some softwares like Helioscope. I will tell you, Helioscope is an interesting software to do a preliminary assessment. It's freely available. You can do the same with the SAM. SAM is a RENARIAL, National Renewable Energy Laboratory system, advanced, what do you call it? SAM is, I couldn't get that clearly. System advisory model. Yeah. NREL system advisory model. SAM has then I told you about Helioscope. PV-Syst is the software used by the industry. I request some, I think we have to unmute some mics here. Okay. I request the participants to unmute if you are not speaking up. So a lot of softwares are there which will give you some ideas about how to do the feasibility studies, to do the basic design. So you need feasibility study experts, you need DPR experts, the one who do the detailed project reports kind of work. And you need a lot of designers, PV system designers. PV system designers use a lot of softwares apart from AutoCAD to do the real hardware design or deployment of PV module design. There are softwares, I think a lot of softwares available now, which are some of them are actually freely downloadable. Some of them are actually they're charging it. I will tell you, PV-Syst is one of the industry standard software developed by the Switzerland, from the Geneva Institute of Technology from Switzerland, and PV-Sol is another software. Red Screen from the Canadian government. So these softwares actually enable us to build up some soft skill to us, and you have chances of doing internship. So your orientation is very important. whenever you go for what you call for entering to for searching a job, so do a preliminary work, a little bit of preparations to do an internship in an industry where you have an opportunity to for work with a solar installation. You will get an opportunity to work with a solar photovoltaic installation, or at least to do a design work, or to do a due diligence of an installed solar power plant. For example, a performance assessment of a solar power plant. So different jobs are available. So do a internship. ANET actually offers internship for students, for MTech students, for BTech students, and PhD students. So if you do internship, you will get a familiarity. Also, private industries also accepts you for internship. Our public utility KCB is also accepting. Different utilities in the country is giving this facility. So utilize that opportunity and dream for a what you call. It's very important. You dream for a target. So that internship will give you a power. Then after your graduation, you can, and during the graduation itself, you can gradually add some certificates. You have a lot of online certifications available now, which is some of are offered by international universities. For example, DTU, Denmark Technical University, is offering a lot of certifications, which give you you can add to your LinkedIn. For example, whenever you add your certification, you can showcase you on your LinkedIn. Very active. You have to be very active in professional social media platforms, professional platforms like LinkedIn. It's very important. You can have, if you're a research student, you can have your research portfolio build up in different research platforms, which will be also highlight your presence. So these kind of preliminary work, and you can do after the graduation, you can do the apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is, National Apprenticeship Act is there, and various national governments are offering this kind of training facilities in different countries also. So and try to do some internship in industry, and then start applying. So this is the way that you have to build up. And if you regarding the roles, there are different roles available. Roles will be like from feasibility study expert to the design expert, a due diligence expert, a manager, an installer, a site manager. A lot of opportunities are there for the site managers. When I was working in Gujarat, in one of the solar parks, we actually interview a lot of people to do our site work actually. So we need people, technical people from graduates and diploma engineers to be the site installers and as site managers. And consultants also hire people as consultants, as project engineers, as to do due diligence. But a lot of traveling will be, of course, involved. So you define your what do you call your dream, work for that, and look at what is happening around the country. That is also important, very important thing. You cannot suddenly jump into an industry. You look around, you update your knowledge, you see that what is exactly happening around you in the globe. What are the technology trends? What are the technology trends happening in the PV side? What are the technologies happening in the wind energy side? And on the storage side, on the floating solar side. So which will enable you to take up different roles like consultants, installer, manager, designer, due diligence expert, design expert, etc., etc. So thank you for that question. I thought because I took more time because that's very important for the students attending here. Thank you so much.
So the next question is, can solar power generation helps in attaining the net zero emission target? If not, how many percentage would solar power generation can help?
That's also a very interesting question because the country has put the net zero target as to 2070, and different states have different targets. The net zero target can be achieved with a lot of effort from the communities, governments, local self-governments, and the people. See, it's very important that how we define the net zero. See, if you take the energy scenario is maybe less than 10%. The most of the net zero or addresses should be made on the other sides, on the manufacturing and the transportation, or on the building side and the transportation. It makes a lot of emissions. Buildings make a lot of emissions, and transportation makes a lot of emissions. Of course, EV is helping a lot. But EV, if you are not offsetting with green energy, it will also disturb your grid. So this, you have to remember that energy is one of the item, maybe contributing less than 20%. The other scenarios like buildings and transportation are contributing more on the emissions. We have to address that also. We have to go for sustainable designs of buildings. We have to go for sustainable transportation to achieve net zero. Of course, on the energy side, PV is making excellent effort. PV alone can address this situation because there are areas where we cannot install PV. You need a non-shady area. You have to have enough solar installation. For example, you have different areas having different solar installations. You don't have the same installation of what you call it, same installation of 5 kilowatt hour per meter square. You cannot expect in Kashmir. You cannot expect that in Stockholm in Sweden. It will be around 3 kilowatt hour per meter square per day. So the challenges will be increasing. But whatever the means we have, we can address it. Of course, PV can be a solution. PV is one of the best solutions because PV is capturing the gold. I have given you a slide telling that PV will overtake coal in 2027 itself. Only thing is, it is not dispatchable. How you make it dispatchable? You have to combine with what you call some kinds of base loads. Maybe if you have a lot of hydroelectric turbines, there you can switch off some of the hydroelectric generators, and use PV. As I was explaining about photovoltaics combined with the excellent example of PV combined or floating solar power plants combined with hydroelectric stations. So it's a kind of a complete job by a system, by different configurations. How you suitably select configurations is very important. PV will do amazing job. There is no doubt about that. PV will be the next contribution. I remember I have seen an interview with Elon Musk. Someone asked the interviewer asked the question: if PV is not giving you the results or PV is failing, then what will be how will you address it? Then immediately he replied, then there is a problem. PV, because that sounds that PV is the next solution. There is no doubt about that. We will make PV dispatchable by combining PV with storage, which is the best solution because storage, lithium-ion storage, and the price has come down more than 80% for the last decade. PV systems have come down the price more than 80%. So it's making more attractive. It can make wonderful things on individual households, even with the blockchain kind of arrangements in solar microgrids, powering remote communities. So amazing things are happening. So PV has a solution. PV will be doing the major contribution. Thank you.
So there's a last question. Can the efficiency of the solar panel increase in the future?
Very good question, actually. I remember the days when I started working, it was around, even crystalline silicon PV modules was around 11-12% efficient. So now, double the efficiency you have around at lab 26% of crystalline PV module efficiency. And in commercial PV modules, you are getting around 22% efficiency PV modules. I will tell you, when I installed the 2 megawatt plant, it was around 16% efficient for the crystalline PV module. Only thing is, if you have to increase the number of PV module area, right? When efficiency is lower, you have to increase the area to catch up with your target. So your number of PV modules will be more. So your number of PV modules and or the area will be reduced when you have higher efficient PV modules. Of course, yes, my answer is yes. It's going from it going upwards. It's reaching around 26% above in laboratory. In commercial achievement is around 22%. With the various advancements on monoperk, what you call many advancements on different sides. If you increase the buses and making a lot of research on the backside on materials, etc. So PV definitely will have a future, and various labs on various research centers are working on that side to increase the efficiency of PV modules. And we know about the bifacial solar PV modules, which gives the excellent results of 10 to 12% extra, because it's capturing the backside also. So no doubt that it will increase. Thank you.
So I hope all the queries of the participants have been cleared. Thank you for your very informative answers, sir. So now I request today's speaker and all the participants to turn on their cams for the group picture. I request Puneet to click a picture on the countdown 3. I request all the participants to turn on their cams for the group picture.
Kindly turn on your camera if possible. It's an excellent arrangement by the Upton region and the student committee here, and all the SPC chapters here, and SPC and PES chapters. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I could see a lot of familiar faces here. It's actually very interesting to speak with students and discuss and share my thoughts. So guys, you keep your eyes open, ears open, listen to the updates, always updated on various fronts on the technology. So IEEE is always doing that. IEEE Power and UCC especially doing a lot of work. So I take this opportunity to congratulate all of you for arranging this. So someone can take the photographs.
I request even the remaining participants to turn on their cams. Puneet is going to click the picture. Puneet, on the countdown, please.
Some of you can share the picture to me. Yeah, I could see
Is
a lot.
that done?
Yeah, it's done.
Newton. Okay. So we'll definitely share you the picture.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the other participants. And there is a chance for PES SBCs to apply for Spark, which is the initiative taken by IEEE ART and PES Student Chapter Committee. So you are getting a question that how can PES SBCs apply for Spark? So here I'm sharing you in the chat box a Google form link. You guys just fill up the Google form to showcase your interest in organizing Art 10 level events under Spark series in association with Art 10 PES Student Chapter Committee, and our team will reach out to you shortly for further planning. So I'm giving you the Google form link in the chat box. So do fill the form for your interest with the Art 10 PES Student Chapter Committee.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we had an excellent participation. Appreciate all the leaders here, student leaders and the PS chapters for making such a great event of the first talk series from Spark. I think this is the first initiative, right?
Yes, sir. This is the first event.
Yeah, great actually.
Thank you, sir.
That is the more important thing. Networks us. That is the most important thing. Thank you.
So first of all, I thank today's speaker, Dr. Ajit Gopi sir, for your valuable information and all these pictures of your projects and giving us some renewable life examples and of the pictures of those. And I thank all the participants who have spared this much of time with us and having some valuable information with you. I guess you have gained some valuable information and which is very useful to you. And thank you, sir, for providing all the assets and providing all the information which is regarding to the renewable energy sources. Thank you so much, sir, for joining.
Thank you so much.
I thank all the participants once again. Thank you so much.
My best wishes to all of
for
you.
all your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.